Do we hear someone craving for ribs? Well, we sure do. After all, who doesn't love gnawing a piece of rib down to the bones? A rack of ribs is undeniably one of humanity's greatest delights and guilty pleasures. But did you know that this prized delicacy came from humble origins?
What?
That's why we're going to dive into today. Welcome to Foodie Legends, your go-to source for the best foods to eat around the world and their history. Today, we are going to learn about the history of ribs and some delicious recipes that you can learn in the comforts of your home. So stay tuned as we turn on the stoves and have a historical and cultural journey. Texas is popular for many things. Well, not exactly that. Texas is known for its warm climate, cowboys, cows, horses, and of course, barbecue. Barbecue is considered to be the face of American cuisine, and when we think of barbecue, the first image that forms in our mind is none other than a tantalizing rack of Texas-style barbecue ribs. The concept of barbecuing was brought to the American continent via the Caribbean region. Through the Spanish conquistadors, the first pigs were brought to the country as ordered by Queen Isabella. Texas barbecue is divided into four main styles: East, South, West, and Central Texas. These techniques vary on certain points, but they share the same characteristic. The barbecue is tender, delicious, and it'll make you crave for a second platter. This rib barbecue recipe is leaning more towards the Central Texas style, but you can tweak it to your own preference in making this dish. You'll need the following: 2 pounds of pork baby back ribs, 3 to 4 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon onion powder, 1.5 teaspoon garlic pepper, 1.5 teaspoon lemon pepper, 1.5 teaspoon smoked paprika, 2 teaspoons ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons salt, 1/4 teaspoon cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1.5 cup of brown sugar, 1.5 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1.5 teaspoon of orange rind that's grated. Start the cooking process by coating your ribs with a layer of Dijon mustard. It'll impart the meat with a deeper flavor and serve as a binder for the dry rub to stick to the surface of the ribs. You can cover both sides of each rib or simply the top. It's up to you. After coating, you can set it aside to marinate and prepare your dry barbecue rub. In a bowl, combine all the dry rub ingredients. Then sprinkle a half cup over the ribs, using your hands to mix the entire thing. Make sure that the spice rub sticks to the mustard surface of the ribs, because that will be the flavor bomb you'll want for your Texas barbecue. Now, wrap the ribs in aluminum foil and refrigerate overnight before the actual grilling. The most essential part of Texas grilling is indirect heat. You don't want your ribs overcooked or dry as a slipper, so it's best to be attentive to this part of the cooking process. In heating your charcoal grill, be sure that the coals are at one end, with the heat still flowing to the coldest side of the grill without actually scorching the meat directly above it. Maintain the grill's ambient heat to 225 degrees Fahrenheit, and now place the wrapped ribs over the grill on the side without the live charcoal. Cover the grill and let the ribs cook for 90 minutes or so. After 90 minutes, remove the ribs from the grill and unwrap it. Apply the remaining half of the spice rub and return it to the grill. Cover the grill and let the ribs sear for 10 more minutes. Finally, you can take the ribs off of the rack, wrapping it once again in aluminum foil to rest for 20 minutes, just to lock the juices and maintain the flavor and tenderness. Once it has finished resting, you can finally serve it with the typical sides of sauces.
Finally!
Speaking of barbecue sauces, we recommend our favorite, Traeger Pellet Grill's Texas Spicy Barbecue Sauce. With just the right amount of pepperiness and tanginess, this sauce has the right kick that is so familiar with Texas-style barbecue. It is ideal for marinade or as a dipping sauce as well. If you don't have the time to make your own custom rib rub, give it a try and tell us about your own Texas rack. Now, to explore ribs in an Asian style, let's fly first to China to explore the famous Peking-style ribs. Despite its name, Peking-style ribs were not invented in China's capital city, Beijing. In fact, the recipe of this dish originally came from Jiangsu province, a coastal province north of Shanghai. Jiangsu's capital is Nanjing, which used to be the capital of 6 Chinese dynasties, which may explain the confusion. Nevertheless, the dish's name as Peking-style ribs just stuck through the ages. One thing is undisputed: Peking-style ribs is very delicious, and you should try cooking it at least once. You need to have the following: 2 pounds of spare ribs cut into 1.5-inch pieces, 1 teaspoon sugar, oil for deep frying, 3/4 teaspoon salt, 1.5 tablespoon Shaoxing wine, 1/4 teaspoon ground white pepper, 1 egg, 1.5 teaspoon cornstarch, 5 cloves garlic chopped, 2 teaspoons light soy sauce, 1/4 cup ketchup, 1.5 teaspoon sesame oil, 1.5 cup of water. Before you begin cooking, you can ask your butcher to cut the ribs into smaller pieces as indicated in the recipe. Trust us, it'll make your life easier. Once you've got your ribs from the shop, rinse them thoroughly, patting it dry with a paper towel. Now, in a separate bowl, start making your marinade by combining the Shaoxing wine, salt, sugar, ground white pepper, and the egg white. Toss the ribs in the marinade and just let the flavor sit for at least 1 hour. While your ribs are marinating, you can prepare your oil in a small pot. Make sure that the pot is deep enough so that the oil can coat the entire rib in deep frying style, and you can cook it in a few batches. Once your ribs are fully marinated, toss it over a layer of cornstarch, making sure that the surface is evenly coated. Heat the oil over medium heat and slowly submerge the ribs in oil. Make sure that there are small spaces between each rib to ensure even frying. Once the ribs start to turn light brown in color after 6 to 7 minutes of frying, turn up the heat to high for 1 to 2 minutes to give it a golden brown color. Once it's cooked, take the ribs out with a slotted spoon and place it in a container with paper towels to drain the oil. To ensure that the ribs are cooked, grab a piece and cut it open to make sure you don't see any pink portions. While the ribs are cooling, let's do the sauce. Take 2 tablespoons of the frying oil and put it in a wok over medium heat, where you will saute your chopped garlic. Add the ketchup, cooking it carefully to avoid burning the sauce. Add the water and sugar, simmering the sauce over medium heat. Finally, you can now add the ribs, tossing it so that the sauce can coat the ribs. Set it on the plate, drizzling the glazed ribs with a drop of sesame oil for that nice nutty fragrance. And that is your Peking style ribs. Sweet, juicy, and outright decadent.
Perfect.
Pro tip, dry white wine is a good substitute for this recipe, but nothing beats the real thing. Shaoxing wine gives Chinese dishes depth and complex flavors, making it a beloved addition in marinades, sauces, and braised dishes. Daxing's Shaoxing cooking wine is traditionally fermented rice wine and popular mainstay in Chinese cuisine. A regular ingredient in the kitchens of ancient Chinese dynasties, you can never go wrong with Daxing's Shaoxing cooking wine in preparing your Peking-style ribs.
Different ribs? Oh my gosh!
Galbi, or also spelled as Galbi, is a popular street food dish in South Korea. Served in many stalls all over the world, Galbi is a type of ji, a term which refers to all Korean grilled dishes, and so, Galbi is oftentimes called Galbi-ji. Normally, beef short ribs is the cut used for this dish, although other street food restaurants also use pork spare ribs, but the cooking method is the same. The actual cooking happens on the grilling table, with the eaters cooking the meat themselves, with little assistance from the restaurant crew. But you can still experience this at home, and you can do the preparation yourself hours before the dinner party. In order to impress your friends with your Galbi knowledge, you'll need to have the following: 4 pounds beef short ribs thinly sliced, 1 small kiwi grated, 1 cup brown sugar, 1/4 cup mirin, 1 cup soy sauce, 2 tablespoons sesame oil, 1/4 cup sake, 8 cloves of garlic minced, 1 teaspoon black pepper, and 8 stalks of green onion. The entire preparation process is pretty easy. All you need to do is mix all the ingredients for the marinade, then place the beef short ribs in a Ziploc bag, where you'll pour the marinade in, sealing it to be stored in the refrigerator overnight. Now, you're ready for the actual grilling. What you need is a reliable and versatile grill for your Galbi. You should try the Food Party's 2-in-1 electric grill and hot pot. A Galbi grill party is not complete without a hot pot, and a hot pot is not complete without a Galbi grill party. This electric grill makes it possible for these two delights at once. If live coals are not allowed in your living areas, Food Party's electric 2-in-1 grill works just as great. Now that you have your grill, all you need to do is heat it up and place your marinated beef short ribs. Cook one side until brown and flip it over to cook the other side. It doesn't take very long to cook Galbi because it is thinly sliced. Once it's done, you can eat your Galbi as it is, or eaten as a filling to your lettuce together with some kimchi, raw garlic slices, or the special dip you made earlier. Delicious, easy to prepare, and fun to cook. That's the essence of Galbi. Thanks again for tuning in here with us at Foodie Legends for our latest episode. I hope you enjoyed some of the rib dishes that you can try at home. Do you have a recipe on ribs that you'd like to share with us? Feel free to share it in our comment sections below. Also, be sure to like this video and click the subscribe button for more delicious content every week. You guys are awesome. Thanks again for watching. See you guys on the next one.